Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm also welcoming myself back after some inexplicable, uncanny absence. I'm back with you again as your host, Lord Hellespont V, live from Los Angeles. I have a very special guest joining me tonight, um, a founding member of the Wolfpack, an exemplary lone wolf in the watch community, someone who takes care of business on many different fronts. And he's going to join me in just about a minute. And as always, we're going to talk watches. Hey, man.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Good, good. There's some, quality issue and a little bit of a feedback, an echo behind it, but
Oh, okay. Give me un momento then. Let me take this thing off. Let me try something else. Sorry, man.
keeping time is in the chat. Good robot. Welcome to the channel, guys. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, it's good to see. Oh, Good Robot. That's awesome. It's good to see Good Robot. It's been a while since I've seen Good Robot. Thank you for having me, Laura. It's always good to talk to you. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Good, good. Surviving, getting by, doing the stuff. What about you? What have you been up to?
Same, man. Same life. Life happens. You
Yeah,
gotta you gotta slow down on some fronts, move forward on others, and
yeah,
but we're back. We're back. We're
yeah.
here. That's the most
Ebbs and
important thing.
flows, right? Exactly.
Hey, so I was we could talk a little bit about watches right under the 5K mark. Um,
Okay.
we can
Do
talk
you want to
about
talk
vintage stuff.
about So when you're saying 5K, do you want to talk about like 5K from the AD or 5K from the gray? Because like 5K from the AD, it seems like that's putting you what around like entry level like Breitling, like Top Time, or maybe one of the Seamaster Omegas or something. But you go gray, you can get a little more. But you got to be careful with that, obviously, buying the
Of
seller and
course,
everything.
as you know, when I recommend, I don't usually talk about grays, but I am talking about either pre-owned or
Okay.
obtainable watches from authorized dealers.
Okay.
5K, because actually we were talking about it behind the screens, um, and you know how much I care about every piece in my collection, but of course there is
Yeah.
one that I like less than others. But I have been wearing my date I have been wearing my Datejust for the last few days, and I love it, even though it's basically my least favorite within the collection. I've
uh,
been thinking of, maybe trading it with something, and that's about the range that I'm thinking about as well. So we can start the discussion there and then talk about a few
So what's the
specific.
going price on that, on the one you got? Because like, not to like rub it in too much, but obviously the market's kind of sinking. If you're gonna get out on it, you want to get out on it probably like sooner over late, like over later. What's it kind of going for now? Is it going for around five then?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, if
Yeah.
if you have a very exquisite example, you can ask for more. Mine is a good example. Obviously,
I'm
it's
sure
not.
it's better than you say it is. I have a feeling it's probably exquisite, and you're just saying it's good because yeah, that's my feeling. But it's a good way to do it.
I'm just being fair.
That's good. I appreciate that.
The Yeah, I think 5K would be realistic. You
Okay.
could possibly get a little less. You could possibly get a little more,
Yeah.
depending on the buyer, depending on the condition, depending on the desirability of the dial. Would easily count for getting a 5K or even more. It's the silver linen dial, which still
Ooh,
desirable, but
ooh,
not
yeah,
not
yeah.
the
It's
most
not the
desirable.
heaviest one, but I hear you. Yeah, it's still a winner though. It's a good one. Well, so you're looking at that. I had never heard of that thing you sent me. That
Love it and I
pole
hate it.
router, that vintage piece, and then I saw it was
That's
Genta,
right.
and that I mean, again, like you're the guy that's into all the vintage stuff. like I would be looking at like more modern, you know, like, but if you want to stick still in like Genta, like some of the Ingenuors, you can totally get those under 5, and those are
Yeah,
really sweet.
let's start with what you would suggest with modern then, and then we can make our way back to some
Sure,
of
I
the
mean, do
newer
whatever.
pieces.
Yeah, cool beans, cool beanage. Hey, what's up, Curly Q? I see Curly Q and Watch
Hey,
Addict
Curly
and
Q.
GR. Thank you, boys. It's good to see y'all.
Yeah, nice to see some of the punteristi in the chat.
Yeah, the punters, the punteristi, exactly.
So what would you be looking at around that 5K range, new from an authorized
New,
dealer or a boutique?
new from an authorized dealer. Okay, new from an authorized dealer. Obviously, let's see, to hit all the main stuff. I mean, let's see, from Omega, I'd be looking at an Aquaterra, probably. I would be looking at some sort of Aquaterra. I have no qualms going with quartz. I know that there's quartz versions that are like, I think they're 38 or something. But there's also those new kind of like, some people will call them the Oyster Perpetual ripoffs. But I don't think they're ripoffs at all. Those kind of colored Aquaterras, I really like those. I think those are right around like high 5s, actually, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a little over. Um, let's see. There's
Just a tad.
definitely
Yeah. Here's
just
an
a
example.
tad. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You got to stay in that range. I hear you though. What about some Nomos? Like I know that. Well, let's stay with. Sorry, let's stay with Omega since you're on Omega. Um, can't really get any Speedmasters under that anymore, but you can totally get those Seamasters and any of these Aquaterras. I think this is a really solid. Like I like all these Aquaterras. Like this one you're looking at. I know that one of the punters, I think Jake got one of those
Mm-hmm.
and likes it. Just all these versions are really
That's
nice, and you
right.
can,
JB has one.
yeah, and like you can get what you like. You can mix it up. You know, that's like one of the complaints that a lot of people have is that, oh, you know, there's so many limited editions with Omega and there's just so many, but it's kind of one of the good things. Like you can, it sounds silly, but like with the Oyster Perpetuals, you know, like I think the original intention was, you know, with those new ones, you match them with your outfits and stuff. You can kind of do that with some of these, you know, like they're not $10,000 watches. They're more entry level, as ridiculous as that sounds for a watch that price point, and you get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of bang per buck as well. You really do. And you know, I had a great experience with Omega when my watch was like out of warranty. Like they really like went above and beyond and like taking
Mm-hmm.
care of me. So I think that like biases me as well, like positively towards the brand. You know.
I mean, Omega generally for customer service, I think is an excellent brand, both in terms of taking care of their older watches and newer stuff. There's a little bit of, I think there are two things about Omega that um, sometimes madden me because I consider
Uh huh.
myself a fan. I'm not committed to the brand, but I am a fan.
Yeah.
Um, there's a kind of creep in pricing,
It's
right?
been
You know,
ridiculous. It's actually it's kind of bullshit for real. Like, cause I mean, what when I got into the brand 20 years ago, like that was fair pricing. I would not get into it at the price now. Let me just say that. Like it's some of these like, you know, what the like FOIS is going for, like it's kind of laughable, you know. Like I get everything's creeping up, but I don't know. Like I got my Seamaster, my first one, like the Blue Wave dial, and it was like just it was like $1,100 for real. Like
mhm,
it's a quartz though, but I mean I love it. It's great. And then the other one I have is a Omega. I call it a Speedmaster, but it's not. It's actually a Seamaster, but it's a chronograph, and it doesn't have a manual. It has a an automatic, and I got that for like
mm.
just over 2,000. You know, like very cheap. Um, so, I mean, it's kind of hard to see Omega prices over 5 grand, honestly. Like, it's kind of hard to bite that. Um, but I mean, I still think you get a lot of value, especially this green one, this blue one. I really like this white one. Um, one of the punters got the white one. I really like the white
Mhm.
one a lot. It's different.
Yeah, I think, you know, white dial on a sports watch has I have been bitten by that bug for some years now, since I fell in love with the Explorer 2 polar dial, and I've acquired one. And increasingly, I seem to almost automatically like sports watches with this sort of lacquered white look. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
good
yeah,
looking.
that's one thing I will say about Omega. I know they have uh, been one of the early adopters of some movement technologies, including the coaxial,
Yeah.
um, and they have improved certain things, of course, but I feel some of it is pure marketing, right? That gets
Yeah,
into the
it's hard. It's
segments of
hard.
customer that you
Mhm.
aspire to sell your watches to. So
Yeah.
that's my only concern with Omega. Otherwise, in the secondary market, of course, you can get a great uh, post bond Seamaster diver for around $3,000 every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So that's always a great deal,
Oh,
as long as
okay.
you know
Well,
what you're
okay.
getting.
That's pretty good value then. Yeah, kind of keeping on the Genta, or I guess like I really like the Constellation. Like that's one that's kind of overlooked some, and like if you have a lady, it's definitely one that you can share with. I think the two tone's not bad. Also, like I'm generally not a fan of two tone at all. I really like some of the Cartier two tones, and like a couple Rolex, like the bluesy and whatnot. But I think the Constellations are pretty good. Those are definitely winners. Um, those can definitely be had under five for sure.
Yeah, and that is a Gerald Genta design. That's correct.
What do you think of this new update on these? Are you a fan of this or not? These new this because it's a little different. This new I
Yeah.
don't even know how to change it or how to explain it or describe it. It's different though.
I have never been a fan of the Constellation, so I don't really, I'm not really um, able to muster any strong feelings about the update either.
Uh huh.
And they
Yeah.
have also crept up on the price. You see, it's like on rubber band, steel Constellation is already $6,000 out of the door, basically, with
Yeah,
with
that's
the tax.
stupid. That's a problem. That's a problem with their pricing for sure. That's not. I mean, I would have a hard time paying that, and I would also. I think most people would have a hard time swallowing that, because that's not really in line with. I mean, I can't really say that. That's kind of ridiculous for me to be like, oh, it's not really in line with what it should be. But on a rubber, 65, that's really high, especially if they're really strict, which everybody is saying with their discounting right now.
Right.
I don't really believe that, because I know if there's a will, there's a way. But that's what everybody says. So.
But
But you got to keep it in mind, right?
yeah. Yeah, so a lot of, that's my thing, right? I think the dealer out of the door kind of shtick, 5K watch is kind of dying, man. Like, everything
It
is
is
getting
dying.
right,
You're right. It is dying.
or
Um,
you're stuck with I mean, even Oris crept up to
did you? Oh my
5K now.
God, they
So
have. Did you see that Aura so dinky that they want like 8 grand for or something? I think I saw that at one point. It was coming out. I
I
think
have
now
not.
it's like in the fours, but like, oh my God. Some of them are nice. The divers, I think it's Oris 65, something like that. It's a pretty
Hmm.
classy looking watch. Very classy looking watch.
So
It's
don't
tough
take me
because it's
wrong.
like
I also like the ProPilot X. I just, again, that's another brand that has slowly
not at
but
the
surely
price.
crept up in terms of pricing,
Keeps
and
creeping up.
it's a
See, at that
different
price, I want
ballgame
see,
now.
I'm gonna sound like a name whore, but for real, if I'm paying 5 grand, I want Omega, I want Breitling, I want JLC, I want something like that. And if I'm getting something like Nomos, like I want the Nomos like Lambda or whatever it is, like I want something nice for that, I guess, because I'm cheap. So,
Are
I do like this pro pilot thing, just not enough to spend that on it. Just there's no way in hell I would spend that. You know?
right. Well, this is what I want to ask. I don't think the Lambda stuff is in that range, though, is it? Like,
They
it's
have a
so much more.
steel version, I think now. Like, so they used to only have precious metals, right? Like on the Lambda, but now they have a steel version that I think is like 6 or 7. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I keep popping right over. We're
Okay,
saying
6.
5, and then I'm giving you stuff that's like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
But I think
58,
it's 50.
5800.
Okay, that's close enough. That's close enough. We're gonna call that 5 for our purposes then. Yeah, close enough, right? That's beautiful. Like, that's beautiful, right? Like, you can't say anything bad about that, for real.
Well, I mean, I can't. It's not necessarily my taste. I think the one Nomos that I really like is the Zurich, is their world time.
Yeah, that's really
I'm a
sexy
big fan
watch.
of
Yeah.
that watch, but I think that's above the price point, well above the price point that we set for today. So it's not even fair to bring it up. But
But
no,
let's
it's
do it.
not actually.
Like
It's right
5?
under, right under 5K. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
46.25 with the blue dial.
Oh, wow. Actually,
There's
I
a
thought it
great
was
watch
like
for you.
closer to 6 or 7, actually.
And I'm sure this is a watch you can actually get some sort of discount on if you have good relationships with an authorized dealer who carries Nomos as well.
You better be able to get a discount on Nomos these days. Yeah. I mean, I would hope so. It's got to be really like hurting hard if you can't get a discount on a Nomos. See, that looks great. That looks really good. Looks great.
Yeah, machine finished, of course. There's no, no smoke screen, no,
Well,
no game about it. They're pretty clear about their standards, which is about precision, machine work, and simple, attractive design that adheres to Bauhaus principles and the Saxonian tradition of watchmaking. I think Nomos is a great brand.
yeah, a lot of bang per buck for sure. A lot of bang per buck. Talking about a little bit on gray market, I guess you already have a reverso, but I did see a reverso for exactly 4.9 on the gray.
Right.
So I know those can be had too, right under 5. Like, that's definitely another thing.
Yeah, and increasingly, I see more and more deals on a watch that I just added to my collection that was also under 5K, right? I got it for 4K, and I'm wearing it now, which is the Type 20. That was...
Ooh, you got that for 4K? Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
So then I ended up, of course, paying, what was it? $538 for the Breguet clasp, because mine came with the full bracelet, but I wanted the clasp as well, just for kicks. And that's what it cost me.
Yeah, it's hard. No big deal, though. At least you got it. That's good.
I think
It's
it
good to
was a
have.
pretty big dildo, actually, but yeah,
It's a price.
that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say and joke around because basically that clasp should be, and you can actually get similar quality clasps from generic brands, but good strap makers like Hirsch, for example, for around $38. So it's basically you are paying $500 for the stationery and receipts that it comes with. Breguet is like that, Blancpain is a brand like that too, in a way. I don't know if you ever had experience
Oh,
with
yeah. Their NATO straps are kind of funny. I haven't actually thrown down for it, but if you want to go in there and try to get a NATO strap, I don't know the exact pricing, but it's something comical. It's like, hundreds of dollars for the little buckle, and then, a few $100s for the pen, and it adds up to, over $1,000 for a NATO with all the stuff on it. So,
wow. So here's what I have been thinking about, right? Since what we can possibly get from ADs into Omega Aquaterras, especially those new colorful ones. If you don't feel too strongly about those models mimicking certain popular Rolex models, those are good options. Aquaterra on rubber, creeping up in price, but still a good option. I've suggested the Seamaster, Bond Seamaster 2531.80 as a great option for around 3K.
yeah. Yeah, it's
We
a good
went
price.
into Nomos. The Lambda in steel is not exactly under 5K, but around 5K, right under 6K. We looked at their world time, which was actually under 5K in terms of list price, 4,600. So those are some good options that I'm sure you can come up with more if you have time later. But I wanted to entertain this idea. So I have this on the leather strap now. This is my Datejust 16014,
Nice, looks good. I like the strap on it.
1978, roughly. Thank you, brother. And it has that nice steel buckle that I matched it with the coronet.
As well.
But yeah, one watch that I had my eyes set on for a while now, and I have been kind of mining for Universal Genève pole router, which is Janta design. Actually, probably one of his earlier contributions. He was roughly 23 years old, I think, when he
Yeah,
designed
I'm
this.
pretty sure it was like that, 23, 24, one of the first ones he's pumping out. So yeah, it has to be right.
And
That's what's up.
it's a design with a with a unique history as well, because it is, in a way, it's a pilot's watch, right? Universal
Oh,
at the time.
definitely. Not like in a way. I would say it totally is for sure. I'd agree with you on that. Totally a pilot's watch.
So Universal was the official supplier for SAS at the time, the Scandinavian Airline Systems.
Okay.
And they wanted basically to create a new watch to both fit the purpose of, fit the conditions of, but also memorialize the new polar routes they came up with for their transatlantic flights between New York and Los Angeles and Copenhagen, which reduced the time significantly. But they needed something that is an exciting design and that was also anti-magnetic. So this is what Janta made for them. Of course, the date version is a later iteration, but it was in 1954 when he came up with the design. It has that lovely internal engine-turned bezel. And on date versions, you have that trapezoid.
I like that a lot. I really like that trapezoid. Breguet does that on some, and there's a lot of other watches that do it too. But I'm a big fan of that look.
And the fantastic thing about Universal Pole Router in this particular case is they actually have, if you have the original crystal, it has a matching magnifier, which is also the same shape, you see?
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like this radial, I don't know what you call that, around the chapter ring or whatnot. That I don't know, that's you know what I'm talking about? I have no idea what this is called, but it's just a very different, very unique thing.
I think chapter ring is a good way to call it. I just called it instinctively because it's similar to stainless steel Datejust bezels that are engine turned.
Yeah.
It's a similar
design. Like
design.
those turnographs, kind of. It's a lot like that. Very similar look. Yeah,
That's
very
right.
similar. I agree with you on that.
And I think it's a beautiful watch. It comes in a few different configurations. It's a smaller watch, right? It's 34.5 in diameter, which is actually a good thing.
This guy is
people.
the polar router. It's 35.5, you said, or 34?
34.5.
34.5.
And
I mean, that's vintage sizing. That is what it is. I wish it was a little bigger, but for the vintage, that's what you're gonna get. So yeah, I mean, it looks good. It does look good. Another one of the vintages that I think is really
it's a beautiful dress watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at that
with
movement. Look at that
micro rotor movement. It's an amazing piece. Of course, no exhibition case back, but this is what you have beating inside, which is wonderful to know, because it is a caliber 69. No sexual connotations, but still quite sexy.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, I think it looks good at the
It's a
price
nice
point.
piece.
Yeah, it's very fine looking.
And there are also, of course, precious metal versions as well. I want to
Yeah, I think there's
just kind
hella
of find
variations for sure. Like
the
hella
rose gold one.
variations on. Yeah, that's cool. What's
I
the
mean, look
price
at
point on the
this
precious metal
pink
though?
gold beauty.
How much does that go up?
It's like the Aquaterra. It's kind of creeping on 5K plus, but I'm sure it
Oh,
can be talked down a little bit.
That's not bad at all then. That's actually, compared to the other one, honestly, if you're paying 4 for that, I would probably be tempted for that, for real. I would be, I don't know, maybe I got the gold bug a bit. I'm really, I got the gold thing in me a bit for real, but I mean, when it's 4,000 versus 5,500, I mean, what's that? 25% increase for precious metal? That's
Yeah,
nothing.
look, I mean, I love white metals. One of my ultimate fantasies is to get a white gold or perhaps even platinum Lange one day, maybe 3
Yeah,
decades from now or
platinum would be
something.
great.
But that being said, of course, there is something incredibly attractive about a precious metal S watch, right? Which this
Yeah.
would be.
I'm a traditionalist in that
And
sense. Like, as silly as it sounds, like I think you need thin, I think you need small, and I think you need precious metal. That's what I don't know. And I think you need a closed case back too. I think you need a closed case back.
yeah,
I think you need all that on a dress watch.
yeah, you have that beautiful caliber in it. Of course, it is a
Yeah,
solid
you need
case back.
caliber. You need a beautiful finish movement for sure. This hits the boxes.
Yeah, it checks most of the boxes. Again, there are a few different configurations. There are precious metal versions. There are earlier no date versions. There are the stainless steel ones that have that kind of tuxedo dial we looked at earlier, which was black at the center with that
Yeah, I like that.
stainless steel internal bezel.
I just have
Slightly
a hard
different case
time,
design,
like,
of course.
not to be a dick, but I just have a hard time, like, paying that kind of money for vintage. Like, at 5K, do you remember that JLC a couple years ago? I think it was a JLC sector dial. It might have just been a master control. It was like blue and white. It was for real. It was funny. It was 55K, like out the door in like 2017 or 18, and so I think
It was
just
the
all the prices.
it was the 45th it was the 45th year anniversary of the master control, the sector dial, and I sold it. I saw it selling around 7,500 very recently.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I know it was selling over the retail for a while for sure. It was one of the few JLCs to be going over retail, unfortunately.
This is the other great example. Again, comes with its matching Gay Frère bracelet. Gay Frère, as a lot of you guys would know, is a very important Swiss manufacturer for bracelets. They are the originators of the oyster bracelets. They are the original manufacturers of the first Royal Oak bracelets when it was designed. And they were making bracelets for Universal Genève as well. And there are versions of the Paul router in this beautiful silver monochromatic layout, let's put it like that. Silver center dial, internal engine turned bezel, and with a Gay Frère bracelet.
Yeah, it looks good. I like the silver look. Looks very good. The bracelet.
And this watch would look, of course, amazing also on a nice leather band too. But the jingly jangly original vintage bracelet, yeah, can't hurt. And you see the Pole Router logo. Of course, the original name was basically spelled with an A, so Polar Router in a way, Polar Router. Then they changed it to Pole Router, I guess, for vocalistic reasons. I don't know why, but that is
Phonetically or
what it
something, I
commemorates.
guess.
Yeah. And again, the caliber, the sexy caliber 69 is what beats inside this beast. So
Well, so
why
sorry, go
is it
ahead.
though? Why is it though? Because you did say this, so I'm gonna put you on the spot and ask you to explain it. You said I have a hard time paying 4 or 5K for a vintage watch. What does that even mean?
Okay. Well, so to me, like okay, so you know what's crazy to me? Like anything more than 20 years old is considered vintage now, you know?
Yeah,
And a lot of the prices, the way they've gone up, I just, I don't like going into those. I really don't. I prefer modern watches. Like at this, like again, like at 5K, like at this, I would be looking at something. I don't know. Like I like vintage. I can't, I don't know. I want something new. I guess that's what I mean. It makes no sense what I'm saying. I want something new. That's basically what I'm saying in a like roundabout way. I would go
hmm.
something more modern, like for a sector dial. Uh, I guess it's hard, right? I mean, there's got to be something. I can't really think of anything right now at the top of my head for under 5K for real. It's really difficult.
You
Um,
can't. Well, how much does the CK20, what is it? 2990?
65. Whatever that Omega is with the white dial, it's like 65. Because Zan was looking at it, like one of the punters was putting it in the Discord chat. It's like 6 something, I think. I mean, that one's gorgeous. That's a perfect dress watch for sure. That's probably one of the biggest hits from Omega, I think. Yeah, this guy right here,
Yeah,
65.
it is
Yeah, I mean,
correct. 65.
yeah, it's a bit high.
And
Like the
again,
blue though.
if you want to go back to that JLC master control, again, you have to part with at least 7,000,
Yeah,
semi
nah.
500,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's hard. That's too hard. I mean, let's see. So you got your okay. So I like just let's see. You got your Type XX for 4. You can definitely get
Yes,
some
sir.
of those like. Well, how much are the older Navitimers now? Are those under 5? Can you get any of those under 5? I don't think you really
Yes,
can. Can you? Can you?
yeah, but like not the more desirable ones. Of the older Navi timers, you might already know that I have my eye on a reference 806 from the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Those are
Team Lotus
gorgeous.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and those are of course more in the $6,000-7,000 range than 5K.
Still reasonable for what you're getting though. Like that's I don't know. I think those are of historical importance. So I guess it kind of I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the only thing that would keep me away from taking a decision like that, like at this time, is because I just got my Type 20, and if I go through with this, it would be the date just going out and something replacing it.
Yeah.
So bringing in a second chronograph for that, I might not want to go through with that necessarily. So I am looking for something. It might be steel, it might be precious metal, but precious metal is already harder, of course, unless I'm sticking to the pole router. But something that is roughly in the dress watch genre, or at least like an elegant everyday, which is, I think, a good way to describe a vintage Rolex Datejust, as it's classically proportioned, as it's simple, basic, and in many ways very beautiful as well.
I think Cartier could fit that criteria that you just listed off potentially.
Mm. What would you recommend from Cartier, again, at or around 5K new?
Ooh. I mean, probably just keep it simple. I guess tank. I guess. I mean, I don't know. There's just so much there. Honestly, it's kind of hard. You know, it really is hard. Um, I like the Santos Dumont. Santos Dumont. I think that in the top right is that.
If you stick to quartz, you can get something, I think, under 5K
Yeah,
if you do.
because
I don't know
the
why it gives
Mechani.
me Netherlands, but let's see.
I think the Mechani,
Yeah.
it's a closed case back anyway. I mean, it has I'm pretty sure they use the Piaget in that also, so it's like it's a nice movement. But you can go the quartz and it's just as nice. And I think you can get, I don't know, I think they have a stainless steel one, and the precious metal is going to definitely be over that, but they have stuff in that rough range. And then the tanks, and then like the solar tank is kind of new or kind of funky and different. And then those colored ones, like the red, green, um, those have kind of been bought up by some of the hype people, though. There's
Yeah, let's
definitely
see.
stuff in here, and there's stuff that's not just quartz. There's going to
Yeah,
be
you
a
see
lot of
you have
quartz, but
the large quartz at 4. Again, these are absolutely not for me, but we are highlighting some options for our audience. You can get the larger Santos Dumont if you settle for a quartz movement as an interesting dress watch piece for under 5K, and in fact at 4.
yeah, I think that looks really good. I like that. I think that's a good looking watch.
Yeah, I do like that aesthetic, and I've always been a fan of the Cartier buckle as well for whatever reason. I think, they have good designs. Let's just admit that, a lot of true horological brands would kill to have two, not one, but two iconic designs in their roster, right? You have the tank, you have the Santos. And not arguably, I think, historically, you have the first man's wristwatch design in Santos. Of course, a lot
Yeah,
of the audience would be familiar with the story.
yeah,
So that's always an option. And I have made this argument again. I like stepping out of my own subjective taste when I consider these questions. And I think, having a quartz movement in an occasional watch, if we
yeah,
think of the dress watch genre as a watch you wear for particular occasions rather than necessarily for the everyday,
yeah,
uh, there's actually a lot that speaks for a quartz movement. You will pick it up and strap it on and just go. You won't have to think of resetting the time. You won't have to deal with winding. You won't have to deal with a lot of these things that us as nerds, as watch enthusiasts, may actually take pleasure in, but for
yeah,
an occasional wearer of an elegant watch, having a quartz movement that will take you for 4 or beyond 6 years,
yeah,
that's actually a good thing,
yeah.
without skipping a beat.
Yeah, there's a place for it in the collection, right? Like I think there's a lot of hate for quartz, and when you take a step back, I think when you say it like that, there's definitely a place for it, especially, yeah, there's a place for it. Every pig has a purpose, and there's a place for this pig, I guess.
And speaking of, of course, this is not the dress watch genre necessarily. Not that Tudor does not have certain dressier models, which I'm not a huge fan of, but
I'm
they're
not
there.
really either of like like that Royale, or I kind of like the Royale, but like that 26 and stuff, or like, I'm not a
Mm.
big fan of those, honestly. Like the 1926 and some of those other ones. But, the main, I
Oh yeah,
like that. I like the
Tudor has a
01.
lot under 5K,
Oh,
right?
yeah, lots.
Tudor
All the
Tudor
black
has a
bows,
great deal.
basically. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You have, of course, the new Ranger right at 3K. You have right at 4K with the full bracelet. You have the Black Bay Pro. Of course, you have the Black Bay 58s right under 4K
Yeah.
with.
I think that's the biggest winner. I still think that is just a huge winner. That's great too. The Pelagos FDX.
Yeah.
That's really great. If you want a NATO or Marine Nationale type strap or paratrooper, whatever they call it.
Or if you want to go a little experimental, which will still keep you right at that mark, you have the boutique limited edition in full bronze. And you also have the ceramic version right around that price range as well, 48.25. That comes with the canvas strap
Yeah.
and hybrid strap.
I am not a fan of either one of those personally. Like I get why people like them. I kind of like the silver one, the silver Black Bay 58. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just not too big on this ceramic, honestly. Because I like ceramic a lot. Like there's a lot of ceramics I like. I don't like it on that one. I really don't.
I can see that. I can see that. It's not, to me, again, I appreciate the fact that Tudor
I like that
does
they're doing it. Yeah, I like they're doing it.
yeah, does things that Rolex doesn't do, and some of that actually ends up in the Rolex lineup somehow, like the Pelagos LHD preceding the new GMT Master Sprite they came up with, right? The Destro
Yeah.
version, the one that was meant to be worn on the right hand, let's say, or just because, right? It's not actually a lefty watch. They never advertised it as such. Let's admit that. But the silver one, again, this kind of experimentation with different materials that Rolex doesn't dabble with,
Yeah.
titanium, bronze, silver, ceramic. I appreciate that. Tudor is not only the heritage arm of Rolex, but also the experimental arm too.
Well said. It's an ugly movement, though. That movement, that's really, I mean, they should not show that off. It's probably, like, honestly, it sounds bad. It's probably just to save money, for real. It's probably just, like, cover that up with precious metal. It costs more. I have no idea, but
To use less silver, is that what you're suggesting?
I don't want to sound like a dick, but kinda. I mean, they should just cover that up. Like, that does not look good.
Hey
But
man, Nick,
it's
I
hard.
mean, when it comes to sounding like a dick, I think the things that we both of us have said over time, it's already happened. I think we do
Yeah,
sound like
it's already
dicks.
cat's out the
We
bag,
do
right?
sound like a bunch of dicks,
Yeah,
and
it
that's
happens.
quite all right. That's kind of on brand for both of us, I think.
That's true. Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Yeah, but this is a very beautiful watch, and again, it's not really the kind of material that you see Rolex, or for that matter, many other brands dabbling with.
Yeah, no.
I have not seen the silver in the wild at all, or many pictures or videos of it that was properly patinated. Have you? Have you come across?
No, see, that's what I'm really curious about, because here's the thing. I do not trust them with the whole bronze story, with how they say the bronze doesn't technically patina. And they say that with, the silver won't tarnish, or, whatever the terminology is for that. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that's a load of BS. I mean, I think we all know, give it a couple of years, it will. Um, but I mean, I respect that they're going to pump the line, the narrative, so to speak. But I think we all know it's going to patina or tarnish, whether it's the bronze or the silver. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to tarnish or patina in a ugly looking way or ugly looking way. Not that tarnish usually looks good, but the bronze patina is probably going to be okay. I think. I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think it's ever going to look ugly. But I do think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to remain stagnant, so to speak.
Of course, of course. This I'm trying to pull up this one, but it's I make the mistake each time of actually getting on the picture. There it is. You see, you see three different versions in a
Yeah.
way.
Oh wow, I see that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's huge. That's significant. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, by the way, just so you know, there are ways to intervene in that process, manipulate that process. There are, like, mixes of waxes you can use to put on your bronze watch to delay it if you don't want it to patina. But I think most folks who would actually buy this watch would probably be actually interested in the process
Oh
of
yes, I think they. Yeah, I
getting
agree with
it
that.
properly patinated.
Yep. Totally. They're looking forward to that. A lot of them are, for real. They want to see that, and they want to see how it's a little different, and like, for
Yes,
sure, the punters that buy those are going to be comparing them all on the forums and comparing them to the others and seeing how there's patina different and all that. That's like totally what a lot of these guys
this is
want.
this is what I was looking for, right here. Okay, new and patinated. You see?
I actually like the patinated. Looks pretty good. It looks good. I prefer the brand new, obviously. Like, but it doesn't look bad. It still looks good.
Obviously, we will have to
Obviously.
change this. I will, if we continue collaborating together, I will keep working on this modernist bias, man. We have to fix that. Obviously, you like the newer one.
Yeah, I just, you know what? Yeah, I'm always going with the new one. Every time I'm taking the new. I always am. I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm doing it. I like the vintage look though. Like, I really do. I think that's why I'm a big fan of Tudor, because they nail that vintage aesthetic. You know, kind of the same reason why I love the Bathy Scaffer and the Blonde
Mhm.
Pont. Like, they nail that look. I think the Black Bay 58 is just a perfect value entry. All that, it's like one of the great watches that we have right now for the
and
price.
and also, again, you might not even like bronze as a material. You might not be into that particular experimentation
No, I'm not.
and
Not at all.
process in the patina. But the thing is, what I like about Tudor is whenever they come up with a new design, it's not just to create another product or another segment. They always try to do something extra or do something different with everything they um, release. Like the ceramic one, for example, has their only Metas certified caliber.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay, I didn't realize that. That's important. That's good. That's
and
cool.
and the movement is blacked out to match the rest of the aesthetic, right? So it's something a little bit different.
Yeah.
um, Same thing with the bronze. Like you said, they were clearly going to turn it up to 11 in terms of the vintage visual aesthetics,
Yeah.
but they didn't satisfy themselves with that. They said, okay, why not give it a dial that in fact increases or raises the volume of that vintage tone, and let's give it an explorer dial, right? Let's give it a 369, so it harkens back to those 50s and 60s Submariner variants that were by and large mil spec or military issued. And I think they did a stellar job, right? At least aesthetically, even if you might not
Yeah.
be into actually acquiring the watch. Aussie expat, man, nice to see you in the chat.
Yeah.
Nice to
Hi.
see you in the
Hi,
chat, man.
Ozzy. Hi, Ozzy. Hi, GR. Hi, Baby Girl. We got Baby Girl listening and Watch Addict, all those people. It's good to have all them around.
And Piruka Swiss was here. He was saying that the bracelet does not fit perfectly in the case of Universal Genève, Paul Router, that did come with the Gay Frères bracelets. Now, there are a few ways of looking at that. Of course, it might be a bracelet that was matched later. The other thing is, when it comes to hollow end links, Piruka, and you would also know about this, at least by your experience of handling these pieces, they deteriorate over time. So the fit itself may not be so perfect because those hollow end links over time, and I have this experience with my vintage Rolex, collapse just a tiny bit. They can be fixed, but they do deteriorate, as does the rest of the bracelet in terms of its fit and solidity. And that's just something that you have to decide. You know, do you want to live with it or not? Do you actually enjoy the perfection in imperfection, or do you want, like Watch Nicholas, always new, untouched, unsullied by someone else's grind?
Unsullied. Yeah, I mean I want something unsullied, exactly. Like something that hasn't been taken to the Tuggin clinic, basically. It hasn't been touched, hasn't been whatever. Like that's what I want. You know, I'm not taking any chances.
Right. Yeah, I do try to get vintage pieces that are ideally single owner, not consigned somewhere, you know.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it. By the seller, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I understand the concerns. You do sometimes you do want something, you do want part of that retail experience, you know, you do want something that they take out of the shipping coffin for you and size it for you, uh you know, fill
I
out the
don't.
card for
I mean,
you.
I get that some do. Like, I understand that some do. I don't. I don't care about that at all. I want the cheapest price. That's it. I want the cheapest price, and I want to be out the door in the
But you
quickest
do
amount of
want it,
time.
you do want it mint, right? You have said that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do. It's all like condition dependent, I guess you would say. You know, it
Yeah.
really is like condition dependent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, I've never bought a watch at retail, and I mean that both at the price point, but also in terms of going into an authorized dealer and working out the deal with them. I
Good.
always
Yeah. Good.
gone the vintage way, the pre-owned
Good.
way. So I'm not obsessed with those trappings, but just like you, I can understand why they can appeal. Um, and when it's done right, as with any other ritual, right? When it's done right, when you have a sales associate with whom you connect at some human level, who values you as a customer,
Yeah.
uh, that can be a good experience. You know, that can
Oh
be a
yeah.
valuable
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. It's good. I agree with that for sure. I hear you. I hear you. That's worth something
Um,
in itself for sure.
Mookie is here. Thank you for being here, Mookie. And
Yeah, hi
BC
Mookie. I love Mookie.
welcomes us back. Thank you for being here, BC. Mookie says, I only buy watches in the back of a cheesecake factory.
That's smart, Mookie. That's smart. That's how you do it. You get stabbed in California though in the back of these places for Movado, so you have to be really careful these days for real. But it's true. It's like it's a good like if you're gonna do a dill, I guess that's probably it's a secure public place. Like I don't know why you would go to a bank these days. Just go to a cheesecake factory, to the bar or something. You know, Mookie has it down. Mookie has it down.
Yeah. This is the 1965 Paul router that we were talking about. This is a watch that you can wear loud and proud,
Yeah,
anywhere from a cheesecake factory to a Michelin star restaurant, and no one will try
yeah.
to rob you for it. Trust me.
No, yeah, no one's getting robbed in Miami for that. No one's getting robbed, which is good. You don't want something that's loud and flashy, you know? So I agree with that. Like, especially these days, you know? Like, I don't know the terminology, whether it's a recession or not, but like, you definitely don't want things that are like loud and big and hype and all that. And I think this is more, or I don't know. I don't think. I mean, it's definitely more low key, but it's, you know, with the history and everything, you know, it's going to get the respect of all the horological punters that like that stuff for sure. So it's a great piece.
Yeah, all the horrors of horology are going to bow down before you if you're wearing a Universal Genève. Whether we're talking about the Paul router, or maybe one of their compacts, chronographs, or even an Eric Clapton, right? You know, the big tri-compacts, the triple calendar moon phase kind of combo meal deal. But this is really a beautiful, beautiful piece. I really like it, at least from far for now. The movement seems a little corroded. I don't like this particular example, but the micro rotor is still a pleasure to observe and contemplate.
Yeah.
And again, this is young Janta in his bag. That beautiful internal engine turned bezel like chapter ring design, I think, is beautiful and goes really well with that crosshair dial with black at the center and the Dauphine hands. Beautiful. The trapezoid date opening, matching magnifier. It's just a nice piece of design.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks good. Classic.
So, any other suggestions from new watches,
Well, let's
maybe?
see. I mean, just before we wrap it up, I guess, let me think here. At under 5K, I mean, maybe we should save some stuff for next time, I suppose. But, I mean,
Next time.
we'll
There's
save
going
it.
to be a next time.
Maybe. We'll figure it out, right? We'll figure
I mean,
it out.
I didn't even know. I'm glad.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure it out.
No, we will.
Big deals.
We have, I think, a lot to talk about, because my initial, I know you had some time constraints, so I wanted to pack something very specific into that 1 hour we had. In fact, we were planning for half an hour, but since the conversation developed so organically, I didn't want to cut it off. But next time we can, of course, talk about perhaps, different segments as well, but perhaps like, one sporty watch, one dress watch at 5K, one sporty, one dressy at 10K, one sporty, one dressy at 15. I think we have a lot to talk about. We have almost, without saying Mariner.
Yeah, the Mariner. Yeah.
There's always that.
Oh my gosh. I hope that watch comes down in price. And the Defy, that's another good one. I like these Defys. I'm a big fan of those. Big fan of all those.
You do. Zenith Defy is one watch design that I didn't really bond with.
Ooh, I like it. I'm a fan of it.
What do you like it? Make a case.
It's flashy. It's bold. It's think of it like Hublot or the Royal Oak. Think of it like that, and at the price point, it's actually pretty cool. If you start thinking of it as like a bang in your face, bold, like, I don't know. It's fun. It's different. Like, and it's really not that bad for the price for what it is.
By lumping all these three together, Hublot, Royal Oak, and Zenith, are you trying to anger me, or are you trying to convince me? I don't get the point.
A little bit of both, probably. Okay. A little bit of both. Maybe throw in the 1159 or something too. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. But listen, I mean, Zenith is a brand that I respect, because it is one of the brands that brought us the one of the first integrated automatic chronograph calibers, and of course, between Zenith and Movado, they do have pretty interesting designs in the past as well, like the Astronic, which is the forgotten integrated bracelet watch of the 1970s that I previously considered on this channel. So I'm not gonna hate on it, but Zenith Defy in general is not a design that I particularly enjoy or appreciate. But
I like so many of them. I was actually, I'm a big fan of the Defy Skyline. I'm a huge fan of the Skyline. I really like that watch with the 10-second counter. I think that's a really great watch, and I like it on the rubber a lot too. Yeah, this is great. Whether blue, white, black, this is awesome. And the white one comes, like we were talking a little bit about white earlier. The white comes with like a green rubber. It looks really, really nice. It's really clean, like really, really clean. Yeah, it's. I've seen them, used, but like mint, like 7, low 7s, I guess.
So wait, where do I see the rubber option?
I don't know. Maybe I just made that up. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought
No, it does say here interchangeable steel bracelet and khaki green patterned rubber strap, but I don't see it in the pictures. I see it in the description, but not the pictures.
Oh, okay. Well, the green's pretty nice. It is a nice like strap with it.
Maybe down here? No.
They're making you work for it.
Yeah, and I'm
It's not important, but yeah, it's not important for real.
No, it is. I mean, I like the look. I do appreciate any brand that offers an easy exchange or interchangeable strap mechanism. One of the reasons that I love my vintage Rolexes so much is because you have the pulse case where you can just pop out the bracelet with a toothpick. It's that easy, and that's why I love putting them on different kinds of straps a lot of the time. Oh yeah, this is like the plain dial with like some iteration of the Zenith star as a pattern of design. I can roll with that. I can roll with that. I can rock with that.
See, that's what I like. I like that star, and it's just different. It is different. I think it's cool. I like the bracelet a lot. I like that star thing or trapezoid. It's not a trapezoid. I have no idea what it is. I guess it is a star, huh? It's just it's different. It's cool. It looks good. I feel like it punches above its weight.
Yeah, it echoes with the star design for sure. The pattern on the dial. I think that's pretty much at least part of their intention. I'm trying to find, because it sounds very interesting, the combination of white with a khaki green strap. I'm trying to find a picture of that. Can't really do it at this point in time.
I'll find one and put it on my
right here.
I should go. Oh, there you go, right there. Bang. I was gonna say I have to go and I'll put it on my Discord, but that's totally it right there. That green.
All right.
There we go.
I think that is a good point to end. Again, I think the dial design is unique. It's not just trying to copy something else, even though again it does riff on the very popular stainless steel integrated bracelet watch design. It does come with an integrated bracelet, but interchangeable with this green, khaki green rubber strap. It's a nice design. It's an original design, and it's priced right around $8,600 US. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us. And Watch Nicholas, as always, you are a great guest, a great interlocutor. I love you as a friend. I'm a big fan of your work, and you can see in his name, Watch Nicholas, where you can directly give to him. My information is in the ticker if you want to support me in creating new original and exclusive content. You can sign up on Patreon. You can send your contributions through PayPal or through Cash App. If you want these lives to return to their regular time, this is what I will have to ask for, unfortunately, because as the great Archie Luxury, the pontiff of our community, says, I don't do shit for free, and this humble servant doesn't either. So with that, we're signing off. Thank you for being with us for this hour of Watch Talk. We'll be back and we'll let you know what we are coming up with next, what we got cooking next.
Great.
Goodbye.
Thank you for the hosting, and thank you for, if I can just say, thank you to all my punters, all the people that came, the baby girls, the watch addicts, all those people. So thank you guys, GR, Jake, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.
Hey, thank you, Panteristi, and thank you, Watch Nicholas.